Good evening, YouTube. Good evening. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's had a good day. And I am here to talk about Arsenal versus West Ham. We had a game yesterday, and it wasn't the greatest of games, was it? To be honest, it wasn't. It wasn't. Listen, I wasn't convinced by the starting lineup. I wasn't convinced at all by the lineup. I didn't understand why Socrates was playing right back when we had Bella in. I didn't understand. I didn't understand why Martinelli wasn't starting. I didn't understand why. I didn't understand why Nketiah was starting. For me, and we've seen it in the game yesterday, that the physicality of West Ham, I just think was too much for Nketiah, and that was exposed. Yesterday, and we didn't actually. I felt in the first half we were very slow and very lethargic and not moving the ball quick enough, and we didn't do enough. I think, in the first half to warrant, any sort of lead. We were quite lucky to actually win the game yesterday, in my opinion. I thought Ceballos was slow. Listen, I don't know. I don't think you can play Ceballos and Ozil in the same team, because listen, they both should be in that number 10 role. Ceballos is better in that number 10 role. He's not great in that deep role, as one of the defensive midfielders. Evening to everybody in the chat. I will get to some of your chats in a second. But yeah, I just felt with Ceballos, I didn't feel he was. I don't think this is his best position where Arteta's playing him. I'm not convinced by that. And I think you play him further forward in the position where Ozil's playing. I think we'll probably get more out of him. But yeah, we didn't really. Aubameyang was quiet in the game as well. It was, Pepe. I tell you what, Pepe was awful yesterday, in my opinion. He had one of those games where he was focusing too much on the little tricks and the step overs and the and he just needed to keep it simple and sort of just run at people. And I've noticed with Pepe, and it's very frustrating that he when he's running at somebody, he'll always look to cut in rather than just go on the outside and just try and beat a man for man. He always looks to cut in, and I don't think that's his best game. I think he should use his pace and just try and draw the defender out and then get a crossing, because he is a very good crosser of the ball. But I didn't feel like he had a great game yesterday. He was too much trying to do the perfect stuff with the ball, like with the step overs and I just didn't think it worked. Also, Lacazette, when he came on, he got the goal, which was quite good. Which was, to be honest, I didn't think that goal was going to stand, if I'm being totally honest. I didn't think when it went in, literally everyone celebrated for about a millisecond, and then it went to VAR, and VAR took a whole long time to decide that was a goal. And when they did decide, it was lucky for us. But actually, having I think it was more important just to sort of gloss over the performance and just accept the fact that we got the 3 points. But listen, if we hadn't got the 3 points, everyone would have highlighted the performance. So I think it's just one of them that we have to accept that we got the 3. Just accept that the performance wasn't great and move on to the next game. And the next game is Man City, and they lost today 2-0 to Man United. And usually when they lose a game, the next team they play, they go and batter. So not confident about that game. I'm not going to touch too much on that game because that will be in my preview, which will be on Tuesday. Let's get into some of your chats and see how you guys made of the game. Evening, Omar. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, Omar, I agree with you. You summed it up there. We were terrible, but like you said, the 3 points is literally, it's just about getting 3 points. Alfred Training 166. Evening to you. Yeah, Sabea, Omar, I've just seen your chat as well. Ceballos was poor. Yeah, no worries, Omar. No worries at all, mate. I understand it's probably late where you are as well, so lucky to win. Yeah, we were lucky to win. We were lucky to win, and that's the thing. We need to start. That's the thing. We need to start fixing up in regards to performances, because at the moment we just seems to be ghosting through games but getting the result. And listen, we've still got quite a bit to play for. We are in the top 4 race. As slim as it is, we are in the top 4 race, and more so now because results haven't gone our way this weekend. Okay, you look at Chelsea and Everton. Chelsea absolutely battered Everton. Literally just took them apart. And then you look at Man United winning. So we need to actually win this game in hand on Wednesday against Man City. Not that I think we are going to win. I think we're going to get battered, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, we need to win. We need to win and keep momentum up, because at the moment we're not looking great. Yes, we're getting the results, albeit one of them was in the FA Cup, and then you could argue that the Olympiacos game, and it was going back onto that Olympiacos game as well, and similarities to yesterday's game. It was very similar in the sense that we went into it thinking we were just going to roll over West Ham, and it wasn't the case. Also, just a quick side note: if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Also, stick a like on this video and share the content around. I'd really appreciate that. So yeah, we need to we need to start fixing up performances and giving teams a little bit more respect than we have been, because at the moment we just seem to walk into games thinking we're going to absolutely steamroller them, and we've almost come unstuck. We come unstuck against Olympiacos. We could have quite easily come unstuck yesterday against West Ham. We were lucky to get out of that. They were piling on the pressure towards the end. So yeah, we need to actually start taking games seriously, because we're not at the moment, and that's a real problem. And the other thing I wanted to touch on as well, and I was saving this until a little bit down the review. There was 2 chances in the game that Mesut Ozil had, and yes, I am going to go there with Mesut Ozil because it is frustrating, and for me, I had a moment of clarity in when I was watching the game, because I was there yesterday, and when he missed both of those chances, for me, it just that sums up Ozil's career at Arsenal, because there was one point where he was in the box, and he literally had to shoot. He was in a shooting position, literally. I reckon if he'd have took a shot on, he probably would have scored, but he didn't. He just delayed, and then just, and then we just fluffed it. And then leading up to Lacazette's goal, he had a chance as well to shoot, and he probably would have scored that too. Luckily he played it to Lacazette, and Lacazette managed to score. But I don't understand why Ozil gets into those positions and doesn't shoot. We're paying him 350 grand a week, and those are the moments where you want him to step up. Those are the moments where you want him to go, have a shot, take it on. But he doesn't do it. And for me, that just sums up why we should get rid of him. Evening to you, Carol. I'm not going to pronounce your name. I don't want to butcher it. Yeah, I agree with you. You were saying our players are not good enough collectively or consistently, and I'd have to go along with that. That they have one good performance. They have a series of good performances, and this is what really winds me up with certain sections of our fan base, is that we have a couple of good wins, and everybody's like, "Oh yeah, we've turned a corner. We've turned. We've changed." And then we have one bad result, Olympiacos a case in point, and we just fluff our. We just completely balls it up. And let's make no mistake about it, Olympiacos was an easy game to win. We had it. We could have easily won that. And yesterday we should have won that comfortably, and it wasn't comfortable. And the truth of the matter is, some of these players aren't good enough. And the quicker certain fan bases start accepting that, and stop putting too much faith in players like Ozil, the quicker we accept the fact that Ozil isn't good enough, that money's wasted on him. The money we spend out on his wages is just totally wasted. Yeah, Alpha training. The real test is Man City. listen, like I said, I think we're going to get battered against Man City. I think we're going to get battered. Evening, Drew. Hope you're well, mate. Yep. Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. You understand. Listen, for anybody who's joining as well, listen, I appreciate you guys watching and joining. I know it's late for some of you guys, so if you can't make it, listen, you can always watch it back. I know this is a live stream and you won't be able to contribute in the chat or anything, but you can always watch it back and leave a comment. I do check the comments. I check them quite regularly when I look at the views and I look at the analytics and all that jazz that YouTube sets out when I look at all that. So I do read your comments. Don't think they don't go unnoticed. So if you're not able to stay and watch, that's understandable. You know. Alpha Training says the players need to go in the summer, get a new squad. Yeah, I agree with that. Not all of them. I think some of them are still quite young, so some of them can be coached. But yeah, some of them are uncoachable. And we do need an overhaul. This squad does need major surgery. So yeah, the squad does need major surgery, and I can't see us. I can't see us spending much in the summer. You know, I can't see us spending much in the summer. If we don't get Champions League football, we're not going to spend. We're not going to have the. We're not going to have the finances to go out and get the players we need to elevate us up the table. And the way it's looking at the moment, we're not even going to get Europa League football. We're not even in contention for Europa League football. We're sitting in ninth as the Premier League table stands right now. Okay, granted, we've got a game in hand, and granted, we are 5 points off of. We're 8 points off of the top four. No, we're not even 5 points because Chelsea won today. So, you know, we're not even in contention for Europa League football or any kind of European football at the moment. Now, I've said all along that if we don't get into those Champions League spots, which is looking pretty doubtful right now, I would rather us not be in Europe altogether so that we can just focus on the league and focus on the FA Cup and all the, like the domestic competitions. Simply because if we don't get into those European spots or get into the Europa League spots, we're not going to have the squad depth to deal with all of that. And you can see that this season we haven't got the squad depth. Okay, yes, you could argue we haven't got the quality of players, but we've not got the squad depth to deal with all competitions. And I actually think it would probably benefit us being out of Europe altogether. Yes, we're going to take a massive hit financially, and we're going to lose players like Aubameyang. Lacazette will probably go, and we're gonna lose a lot of those names. But it's a catch-22. We need to sort of get things back on track, because at the moment we're just treading water as a club. We're not going anywhere. We could possibly make top 5, possibly, but then top 5 might not even be enough. Top 5 might not even be enough for the for the Champions League spot or Europa Leagues. Well, it'll be enough for Europa League, but it won't be enough for Champions League. Depending, obviously it all depends on what happens with Man City, and it depends on whether they're whether they're going to get their ban is going to get upheld. So it's going to be an interesting times ahead as an Arsenal fan. Evening, Steve. Yeah, you know what? I'm glad somebody else agrees with me about Özil because listen, last time I had a rant about Özil, I lost about 3 or 4 subscribers. But yeah, listen, it's just my opinion on Özil. You guys don't have to agree with it. You guys don't have to like it. But listen, I'm here just to give my opinion and to say what I think, and then get you guys interaction in the chat and the comments. Yeah, out for trade. Listen, we are where we are, and we are where we are for a reason, and the reason being that some of these players are just shit, to put it bluntly. Evening, Finn, Joey. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. I've been on Lee's channel a couple of times, so and thank you very much. Keep watching. Thank you very much. Let's have a look here. Eddie Alpha Trademark says Eddie Nketiah is championship player. Do you know what? I think he's a good player. Do you know the problem with Nketiah and what I got from the game yesterday? And every time he plays, he's trying too hard, and he just strikes me as a player that is, every time he gets on the ball, he's over trying. He just needs to settle down and just play his normal game. Every time I see him, he's just trying. He's trying too hard. Steve is back again. Says Torreira being out is a big problem because we've got no other defensive midfielder, and Man City are going to take us apart. And yeah, Man City are going to take us apart. Listen, they're going to They I can't remember if they've ever under Pep Guardiola lost 2 games in a row in the Premier League. And yeah, I mean, listen, they're going to run rings around Granit Xhaka because that's who we've got at the moment. And even he's gone back to his old shit self, and his passing's gone down. He's, he's not, his passing's not as crisp as it was. And that's the thing. People need to realize that these players are simply not good enough. The quicker we can get rid of some of these players, the better. Alpha Training 166 says Ozil stays because he likes London. Well, listen, I like London, but I'm sure he does like London. But you know what? This Arsenal's, we haven't got room to carry anybody. We're not in a position to have a luxury player like Ozil, and he's not even a luxury player. What luxuries does he bring to Arsenal? Apart from a huge dent in our wage bill, he doesn't do anything on the pitch. He's a spent force. Not that he ever was a force, but he doesn't do anything on the pitch. He does nothing. He has one good game where his work rate is exceptional, which when he has that game and his work rate is exceptional, that's what it should be like minimum every game. But because he has that one good game and all the Ozil lovers are coming out going, oh yeah, Ozil's world class. Look, we got world class Ozil back. No, Ozil's not world class. It's just because he doesn't do that every game. When he does do that, you think he is world class because we're so not used to seeing it. Carroll's back. Yeah, going back, she was saying about the Europa League, that unless we win it, there's no point. And I agree. I agree with you about that because, listen, Europa League sort of gets interesting at the knockout stages, but until you get to the knockout stage, it's just boring. It's just, and you know the thing is with this season, I never really felt that we could go far in the Europa League. We struggled, and last season and the season before that, it was sort of different. I sort of felt that we'd go deep into the competition, but this season, with the change in manager, which has upset a lot of what's gone on this season, the change in manager, then getting used to a new manager, I sort of felt that trying to go deep into a competition like the Europa League was too much for these players, especially when half of these players are weak. Half of these players have a weak mentality. So I just felt that going deep into this competition, I didn't think we'd really do that this season. Steve, do you know what? You make a great point. He said for having a Aubameyang on the wing and Martinelli on the bench is a waste of talent. And I said in my preview when I did my starting lineup predictions and what I wanted, I actually wanted Aubameyang up front and Martinelli on the wing because, yeah, Martinelli's too good to be on the bench, and Aubameyang's his best position is down the middle. So play him there. Why are you putting him on the wing? We can't even say it was to accommodate Lacazette because Lacazette only came on as a substitute yesterday. So yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it. Steve saying about you can see something in Nketiah, but do you know what? I agree with everything you're saying, right? Listen, Steve, Ozil's part of everyone's problems, mate. Not just Eddie and Nketiah and Lacazette's. And I do think you're right as well. I think half the time the squads are made up to fit around Ozil, but yet he offers absolutely nothing. He offers bugger all in that number 10 role. Now listen, I didn't think Iwobi was good enough for Arsenal, right? And he spent most of his career out on the wing. When Iwobi, his best games for Arsenal when he played for us was number 10. But yet we spent so long putting Ozil there to try and accommodate the great Mesut Ozil, and then that's where a lot of our problems are. We need to just ditch Ozil, and I will say that for Emery as well, for all his faults. And listen, towards the end of his tenure as Arsenal manager, he had a lot of faults, but he's the only one that ever had the bollocks to drop Ozil, and for that, I'll always admire him a little bit as a manager. Finn Joey says Kevin De Bruyne is injured. We will only lose by 1 or 2. Do you know what? I would like to agree with you there, but unfortunately, this is Arsenal we're talking about. And listen, we make West Ham look good. So what are we going to be like when we play Man City? If we can make average teams look like prime Barcelona, Man City is going to look like Liverpool when they play us. Do you know what I mean? Carol says it's not so easy to get not easy to get rid of some of the players. Plus, we won't pay the top for good quality. I sort of disagree with that last bit about not paying not paying the fees for top quality players, just for simply because we spent 72 million on Pepe. So I don't think they'll shell out the cash. I just think they're shelling out the cash for the wrong type of player. Like, that's 70 odd million. Yes, don't get me wrong, I'm glad we got Pepe because I do think he will come good. But that 72 million that we spent on Pepe, that could have gone on a world class centre back. That could have gone on, say, like an Upamecano or a Koulibaly, and we could have easily have got those. Or if you're going to get a player, and this is what I don't get, we spent 72 million on Pepe. Why didn't we just go and pay the 25 million, 30 million and get Ziyech? Ziyech's half the price. Also, plus it would have. And I have this thing that we only didn't go for Ziyech is because, again, we put too much faith in Mesut Ozil. And if we'd have just literally ditched Mesut Ozil and got Ziyech, we would be in a far better position. And he would have joined Arsenal as well. But unfortunately, listen, Chelsea got there and they look like they've all but done that deal. Again, we just missed out, missed management and missed management in terms of recruitment as well. Alpha, I like your optimism. Listen, I don't think we're going to win the league next season just because we're not in the Europa League. I don't think we've got the squad. But listen, we'll have less to focus on. Yeah, we'll have less games, but it's going to be interesting. Listen, it's going to be interesting. I agree with you, Alpha. Again, Europa League's not very good. Steve said, "I sound like Lee when I say the great Ozil." Well, listen, it is true, isn't it? It is. Ozil is, I'd love Ozil lovers to come on this chat and tell me one good thing that Ozil has brought to Arsenal. You know what, Carol? I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. My speech software occasionally butchers people's names. You said it right there. We need players with heart and guts. You know, and at the moment we don't have that. We don't have that. You know. Yeah, you know, we do need players with heart and guts, and that is it. That is it. At the moment, we've just got players who are more interested in getting the money, whereas back then, um, you know, they didn't have the money that there is in football today. You know, they didn't have the money that was back then, but now it's just all, you know, the players are interested in the money. And listen, we have to accept that we've been mismanaged for the best part of a decade. And you could argue that we're still being mismanaged. Not necessarily by, you know, I'm not necessarily blaming Arteta for that because he's only just come in. But listen, you have to look at the people above him. And I will say that for, you know, I will say that if we don't have a good summer in terms of good transfers, if we don't have a good summer, then hey, guess what? The board, you're going to be in the spotlight because you know, because it's on them now. You can't keep changing managers and stick with this group of players and expecting things to change because hey presto, these group of players aren't good enough. But I guess we'll just wait and see, won't we? I guess we'll just wait and see. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's preview. Thank you to everybody who's watched. Thank you to everybody who's participated. Thank you to everybody who's contributed in the chat. Please subscribe if you're new. Share the content around. Please put a like on this video. I'd really appreciate that. And share the channel around as well, please. That I'd really appreciate that. I'm only my channel's fairly new to YouTube. Only been going just under 2 months. And I'm closing in on 250 subscribers. So please share the channel around. I'm going to be back on Tuesday with my preview for the Man City game. I'll be back with a stream then. My Q&A, my weekly Q&A, which going forward, I am going to do a weekly Q&A, which doesn't necessarily have to be football related. It can be anything other. It can be anything other than, you know, it can be anything else. It can, you know, you can ask me about music, you can ask me about movies or anything. It doesn't have to be football related. That is going to be on Thursday. Also on Thursday will be the review for the Man City game. I'll be back with the review. I'll be back with I'll be back with a review. And then on Friday, I'll be back with a preview for the Brighton game. So that's what you guys can expect on my channel this week. Also, if there's anything else you'd like me to do, in the way of content. Listen, I'd like to get you guys' opinion, you guys' thoughts. So please leave it down in the comments, and I will I'll do my best to do the content. Well, that's it. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'll catch you all on Tuesday.